Hello, my name's Alison Morton. I first fell in love with poetry when I was aged 11. I was attending a military school in the Middle East, and our very enthusiastic teacher, who was called Mr. Hunter, encouraged us to learn and recite pieces of poetry. This piece was the first one I ever read, and bear in mind that at the time I read it, the temperature outside was somewhere north of 40 degrees centigrade. This is The Ice Cart by Wilfred Wilson Gibson. Perched on my city office stool, I watched with envy while a cool and lucky carter handled ice. And I was wandering in a trice, far from the grey and grimy heat of that intolerable street, or sapphire berg and emerald flow beneath the still cold ruby glow of everlasting polar night, bewildered by the queer half-light, until I stumbled unawares upon a creek where big white bears plunged headlong down with flourished heels and floundered after shining seals. Through shivering seas of blinding blue, and as I watched them, ere I knew I'd stripped, and I was swimming too, among the seal pack, young and hale, and thrusting on with threshing tail, with twist and twirl and sudden leap, through crackling ice and salty deep, diving and doubling with my kind, until at last we left behind those big white blundering bulks of death, and lay at length with panting breath upon a far untravelled floe, beneath a gentle drift of snow. Snow drifting gently, out fine and white, out of the endless polar night, falling and falling evermore upon that far untravelled shore, till I was buried fathoms deep beneath that cold white drifting sleep. Sleep drifting deep, deep drifting sleep. The carter cracked a sudden whip. I clutched my stool with startled grip, awakening to the grimy heat of that intolerable street. This poem is by Rudyard Kipling. I like it because it was one of the earlier ones that I memorised, and I've always recited it to myself when I go through the woods. It's called The Way Through the Woods. They shut the road through the woods 70 years ago. Weather and rain have undone it again, and now you would never know there was once a road through the woods. Before they planted the trees, it is underneath the coppice and heath and the thin anemones. Only the keeper sees that where the ringdove broods and the badgers roll at ease, there was once a road through the woods. But if you enter the woods of a summer evening late, when the night air cools on the trout-ring pools and the otter whistles his mate, they fear not men in the woods because they see so few. You'll hear the beat of a horse's feet and the swish of a skirt in the dew, steadily cantering through the misty solitudes, as though they perfectly knew the old lost road through the woods. But there is no road through the woods. Hello, my name's Alison Morton. This poem is the first one of my own work that I'm going to read to you. I wrote it shortly after David Bowie died in 2016. My first husband, who died in 1988, was a great David Bowie fan, and I wrote this for both of them. The Starman is gone, ashes to ashes, funk to funky. The stars look very different. I don't know if Major Tom's a junkie. Some pour scorn on my musical taste. They think it's naive, they think it's a waste. Well, just listen to me. Listen, and I'll tell you why the Starman is still up in the sky, why 5 years are still stuck on my eyes, and Ziggy Stardust is still alive. The Gene Genie lived on his back, completely outrageous with his chimney stacks, was a backdrop to a love affair, sweetly breathless, so faintly there, just beginning, hopeful and afraid, a future full of promises, promises made. Ziggy and the Spiders, glamour rock, what a shock when he broke up the band. But we, hand in hand, passionate nights, embarked on marriage, the future in our sights. Singing along all the songs, a lad insane, what could go wrong? The young Americans, all the young dudes, the thin white Duke was never rude. Major Tom and the China girl danced in the streets across the world. While here, at home, we fell apart. Illness broke him and broke my heart. There were no heroes, not even for one day. Just two sad people who couldn't find the way. The mother spider in her web of glass, suffragettes and God-given ass, had no power, no strength, no way to see where we should go. So I lost me. And where are we now? Those two sad souls whose hearts fell into a big black hole. With the pretty things, we're in the past. The changes came and nothing lasts. The moon age daydream ended too soon. The monsters were too scary and we couldn't find the tunes. So he went to explore the stars and the moon and left me behind. It was all too soon. The me I lost is still inside, found a place in the dark to run and hide. But the music can bring her out into the light just now and then when the sparks ignite. When Suffragette City collides with the fashion, the memory stirs of a long gone passion. And the starman is gone, way up in the sky. And I remember my love, and I can't help but cry. It's sometimes hard to remember your face. Are you in heaven now? Is heaven a place? Is it all hunky-dory where you are now? And is Mickey Mouse grown into a cow? I've lived without you for so many years. This modern love doesn't hold many tears. But just now and then, when I get the chance, I'll think of you and whisper, let's dance. Hello. Those who know me know that from time to time I write poems that are quite political. This one is very recent and very topical. Its title is simply George Floyd, Minnesota, 2020. Many, many lives ago, how many lives? I don't know. Our granddaughter's ancestors walked in the sun and lived out their lives with each day's work done. African villages, African heat, dusty ground beneath African feet, families raised under clear blue skies, far away from white men's eyes. Then the white man came, with guns and whips, loaded thousands onto creaking ships, carried them over the rolling seas, chained and beaten to their knees. Worked them and beat them and worked them again, tea and cotton and sugar cane, families working in Caribbean heat, dusty ground under black slaves' feet. The same sun beating from clear blue skies, black people forced into slavish lives, because white men believed they had the right to own other people just because they weren't white. The right to make money, to live lives of ease on the backs of black people enslaved on their knees. Slaves forced to work endless year after year, freedom a word they forgot how to hear. No memories left of African roots, generations enslaved under white men's boots. Broke down shacks and threadbare clothes, singing African songs while they wielded their hoes. Dance to remember, drink to forget. 200 years and not ended yet. Black families were freed, but no jobs and no homes, no hope and no food, condemned to roam. A war to end the slavish trade, Yankee dreaming, fortunes made, while black men They still clean the streets, the homes of dirt from white men's feet. Cleaners, street sweepers, work while you sleepers. And singers, musicians, professors, clinicians, even the potus with his first lady, shining a bright light on lives that were shady. Then the Orange Man came to plaster his name across buildings and billboards, placating the gun hordes of white men who dreamed of their superiority over black men they'd forced into inferiority. The promise to make America great once again, spreading hatred and fear, division and pain. And our granddaughters, 3 black beauties so tall, African roots, Americans all, Yankee girls from New York State, baseball, school proms, facing racism and hate. My Minnesotan friend in tears as the city of his growing years lies in tatters, trashed and burned to ash, while white men sit back and rake in the cash. I can't breathe, the black man cried. Please, I can't breathe. And the black man died because of a white man kneeling down, pressing a black man's neck to the ground. I can't breathe, the black man cried. Please, I can't breathe. And George Floyd died.